ये नमः। ॐ अमृतेश्वर्यै 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 नमः।
Now I would like to invite Kannan Sir, Physical Education Coordinator, AVCEO, to kindly step forward and felicitate Swamiji as a token of our immense appreciation. Let us begin this auspicious occasion by seeking the blessings of divine. I request everyone for the Dhyana Sloka.
ध्यायामोदवलावकुण्डनवतीं तेजोमयीं नैष्टिकीं स्निग्धाभाङ्गविलोकिनीं भगवतीं मन्दस्मितश्रीमुखीं वात्सल्यामृतवर्षिणीं सुमधुरं सङ्गीतलालापिनीं श्यामाङ्गी मधुसिक्तसुत्तिम् अमृतानन्दात्मिकामीश्वरीं ॐ श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः हरिः ॐ।
To help us to know more about Swamiji and his inspiring journey, now I invite Mr. Murugan Sir, Senior Consultant, AVCEO, Principal of AV Thoothukudi.
Om Namah Shivaya, Om Amriteshwari Namaha. It's my immense pleasure to welcome Brahmachari Mokshamrita ji. Mokshamrita ji is a monastic disciple of Amma. More than 20 years back, he left his lucrative career in North America and decided to be a part of Amma's mission to serve humanity. As the national coordinator of Ayuth, which is the international youth movement inspired by Amma's vision, currently he spends a lot of time in guiding and mentoring the youth and teachers. Mokshamrita ji is a sought-after speaker in various reputed institutions to deliver lectures, especially to the youth and teachers on the topics related to mental health, spirituality, substance awareness, as well as science and technology. His insightful and inspiring talks beautifully weave together the timeless wisdom of Indian culture along with a scientific, practical approach that resonates with the modern mind. He is well known for his ability to blend the concepts from science and technology with the timeless wisdom of Amma's teaching and our ancient scriptures such as the Bhagavad Gita, Upanishads, etc. He has guided and mentored countless youth in alignment with Amma's vision, empowering them with clarity, confidence, and a deep sense of purpose. A certified yoga and meditation instructor, Brahmachari Mokshamrita has been invited by many organizations worldwide to conduct workshops with diverse audiences, including soldiers, corporate professionals, doctors, engineers, as well as teachers. Brahmachari Mokshamrita ji has an engineering background in computer science and loves to follow science and technology closely even now. Prior to embracing the monastic life, he held senior technical roles across multinational corporations in India, USA, Canada to design and build fault-resilient, secure, large-scale enterprise systems. His experience spans mainframes, distributed architectures, cloud-based technologies, cybersecurity, wireless networks, and machine learning applications. In past, he has also served as a computer science faculty at Amrita School of Engineering, where he parallelly worked on government-funded projects and authored research papers in wireless communication and digital security as well as. He has also been an invited speaker at the prestigious TEDx platform. Beyond his spiritual and social pursuits, he also enjoys composing music and writing poetry. So once again, I am welcome. Swami, please take this. Thank you.
With great respect, now I invite our Reverend Swamiji, Brahmachari, Mokshamrita, wisdom and blessing with us.
Namaskaram to everyone. Can you reduce the bass, please? Increase the treble. Check. Namashivaya. Namashivaya. Hello, check. Am I audible properly? I know the prayer has been over, but I still would want to start with one prayer. अखण्डमण्डलाकारं व्याप्तं येन चराचरं तत्पदं दर्शितं येन तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ॐ सहना भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। ॐ श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः। हरिः ओम्। First of all, I humbly prostrate at the lotus feet of our beloved Amma, our master, our guru, our mother. And my namaskaram to everybody gathered here. Sorry for the technical glitch. So, before we start today's session, let me once again thank the organizers, especially Swamini Bhakti Priyamrita ji, Murli ji, for having invited me. It has been, I think, a long pending session. Bhakti Priyamrita ji, Swamini, has been asking me for quite some time. But since I am mostly in North India, somehow it did not coincide. But this time I have this opportunity to be here and present some of my ideas about this vast topic of Karma Yoga. And I know most of you have already had many sessions on Karma Yoga. So it's a challenge for me to tell you something new, but I will try. And maybe in the process, I will also learn something from you, because as Amma says, a good teacher can only be a good teacher if he or she is also a good student. So as a teacher, I think it is very important for us to keep learning and never have this hallucinatory idea that I know everything, I know enough, and there is no need for me to learn anything. So, yeah, please change the slide. First of all, please change the slide. Let me thank all of you for having sent me so many questions. I did not actually expect so many questions. And you can see the number 222. That is the number of questions I received from you. And I think you all deserve a big round of applause for that. Not me, you. Initially, I thought, maybe I'll get 20, 30. But 222 was too much for me also to handle. And to tell you frankly, for the last 4-5 days, I've been going through each and every question of yours, trying to do justice to this session. And I won't promise that I'm going to answer all of your questions. I can't. It's almost impossible. But I will try to at least address the main questions. Maybe the organizers will have to call me again some other point of time if the same topic is taken. Or maybe the other sessions which have happened, maybe some of your doubts are already cleared. So what we will do today is, in the first half of my talk today, I will lay down some basic fundamentals and try to approach this topic of Karma Yoga from a different perspective, slightly different perspective, which you might not have heard. And then we will go into question and answer, live question and answer. If time permits, we'll see. And maybe there is a break also in between? No break, okay. All in one shot, okay. So it's very, I think possible that some of you might fall asleep. I was hearing from some of the speakers yesterday their experience of watching sleeping audience. So what we will do is, in between, if I feel audience is going into samadhi, I will say Ma and you stand, okay? When I say Ma, you stand. And then you sit down saying Om. Fine, that's all you have to do, just to get rid of the sleep. Can we just try it once? Okay. Ma. All of you should stand at the same time. Okay. Then you say Om and sit. Wonderful. Wonderful. So in between, we will do this just so that I'm not talking to a sleeping audience. Fine. Next slide, please. I will tell you when to change the slide, then you change. Let it be like this. See, when we look at animals, birds around us, we see them doing so many things. But there is no change in what they have been doing for thousands of years. The monkey still does the same thing, which it used to do thousands of years back. The bird, whether it is a cuckoo or a pigeon, they still do the same thing, what they had been doing thousands of years ago. But it is only and only a human being who in the past thousands of years has refined itself so much that there was a time when we did not even know how to cook food. And today we have inventions, discoveries, science, technology has advanced so much that we are talking about AI, we are talking about supercomputing, we are talking about whatnot. Even going to other planet and living there. That is the amount of advancement we as a human civilization have made. That is one very unique feature of humans. We keep on refining things. We keep on refining things. There are some things which are very common to animals and birds and humans. For example, we also eat, animals, birds also eat. We also sleep, they also sleep. But there is a difference. We don't eat like animals do. We do it in a much more refined way. Right? If you throw something on the ground, an animal will just come and lick it, eat it. But we won't do that. We need a plate, we need a saucer, we need a spoon, we need few small dishes. There is a refinement in what we do. But at the same time, it is also important to understand that we are not limited to what humans are not limited to what animals and birds do. And it's very obvious. There is a very beautiful saying in Sanskrit. Ahar nidra bhaya maithunam cha samanyam etat pashubhihi naranam dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho dharmena hina pashubhi samana. Which means, when it comes to the matters of food, ahar, nidra, sleep, bhaya, fear, maithunam, sex, samanyam etat pashubhi narana. It is very, very common. It is very, very similar when it comes to humans and animals. Dharmen hina pashubhi samana. Dharmo hi tesham adhiko vishesho. But there is one thing which is very, very unique to humans, and that is a sense of dharma. Dharma is a very vast term, but just to make it simple, it includes morality, it includes ethics, it includes social and personal responsibility, all of that. So dharma, a sense of dharma, is what makes humans very, very unique. And then the last part says, dharmena hina pashubhi samana, which means a person who is devoid of dharma, who doesn't understand or who doesn't follow dharma, is almost like an animal in a human form or in a human skin. That is how important dharma is. Let me ask you one question. Say you are walking on a road and one cow or one dog comes and hits you. What will you do? No, maybe it's not such a strong hit. You may not fall down. But what will be your reaction? What will be your response? You may be a little scared, but then you will go your way. The dog or cow will go. You will not catch hold of the dog or the cow and say, why did you hit me? Tell me. You're not going to do that. But if instead of a cow or a dog, it was a human being, let's say a man or a woman, who does the same thing, what will be your reaction? You will definitely fight, or you will, catch hold of the collar and say, how dare you did this to me? Because we expect a certain degree of discernment. We expect a certain degree of viveka in a human being, which we don't expect in animals. You cannot take an animal to a court, or you cannot punish them by law if they hit somebody. But you can do that to a human being, because human beings are supposed to have a certain refined degree of intellect, a certain maturity, a certain discernment, right? And very, very importantly, when I was talking about human evolution, once your basic needs are met as a human being, by design, you will want to achieve something higher. That is very, very unique in humans. Let us say an animal or a bird, if they get food, if they get shelter, they will not all of a sudden start to think about some research, right? They will again want food, sleep, those things only. That is their circle, that is their limit. But a human being, once the basic necessities are met, human being is designed to achieve something higher. It is by design. By design. So that is why, I don't know how many of you here are with a psychology background. Anybody here with a psychology background? Nobody? Okay, few, okay, at least. You know Maslow's hierarchy of needs? You know that, right? So it's like a pyramid. It's almost, you can draw parallels between that and what I told you about ahara, nidra, bhai, maithunam, cha, that quote. So in that pyramid, Maslow says, he's a psychologist, American psychologist. Do I have a marker? Behind, okay. Maslow's hierarchy of needs talks about a pyramid with 5 levels. So if 1 is met, then we as humans start thinking about 2. If 2 is also met, then 3, then 4, then 5. The bottommost is the physiological needs. Physiological. Like roti, kapda, makan, food, shelter, those basic things. Then slowly it goes high. There is safety needs. There is love and belonging. Similarly, the most on the top, it's called self-actualization. Self-actualization, which is the last one. And here one more is there. I don't recall it right now. Which one is it? Self-esteem, yes. Thank you for that. Self-esteem. So these are some basic needs of a human being. This is a Western view. We don't have to compare it with our Bharati or Indian view, but there are some parallels. So ahar, nidra, bhai, maithunam, all that can be these 3 layers. And then dharma can be somewhere here, right? May not be one-to-one parallel, but there is some similarity. So by design, the reason I wanted to show you this is just to say that by design, we are designed to achieve something higher in our life. We may or may not realize it, but we are. We are designed to do that. Now, the thing is, we as humans have this peculiar, very unique opportunity to also decide to stay at these 3 levels only and not go any further. And then we remain almost like animals, maybe in a human skin, maybe in a human form, but like animals. Only if we go higher, touch that space of dharma, we enter into that mode of living, self-actualization, exploring our maximum potential, which is beneficial for the larger good of the society. We become humans. We become real humans, not just in the body of a human being, but really a human being. That is why you will see disturbances coming. That is why we as humans can either be a Ravana or a Duryodhana, but we can also be Rama, we can be Krishna. Both possibilities are there. And we, each one of us, has to decide for ourselves what we want to be. I remember a very beautiful short film which I happened to see some time back. There was a grandmother. She was telling a story to her grandson. And as part of the story, she is telling about Ramayana, the Ramayana story. Most of you know. But the moment she reaches the last portion, she doesn't say what happened in the battle, who wins, whether Ram wins or Ravana wins. Always she will stop there and that's it. So the grandson, he became very curious because every day grandmother is doing the same thing. She is not saying what happened, who won the war. So one day the grandson asks grandmother, "Grandma, tell me, who actually won the war?" Grandma says, "When you become big, when you become an adult, I will tell you, not right now." So many years pass by and this boy becomes an adult. And one day he remembers the same story. He goes to the grandma and says, "Grandma, now tell me at least, who won the war? Was it Rama or Ravana?" So grandma says, "My son, I did not tell you because I want you to understand that in your life, in your Ramayana, you are the one who will decide who will win. Whether Rama will win or Ravana will win, you have to decide." So Ramayana is not a story, it is our life. That is how beautiful our scriptures are. Our all these itihasas also, be it Ramayana or Mahabharata, they are also pointing at our own lives. We have to, each one of us have to decide whether we want to stay at the lower levels or whether we want to go higher in life and live like a real human being. Right? Now, why I'm giving you this background? For a reason. Obviously, it has something to do with the topic. But before I say that, I see some sleeping audience. So let's do a ma. You have to sit down while saying Om. Don't just say oh. You have to say Om. Okay? Not just oh. Fine. The reason I gave that introduction was to tell you, when it comes to our day-to-day action, see, all of us are doing some action or the other. From the moment you get up in the morning, today you did yoga, you went for chai, had breakfast, now you are here. Even though you are not physically moving like I am on the stage, but still you are all doing some action. What is that action? You are listening, hopefully. Some of you may be sleeping, but that is also a conscious action on your part. You have to decide whether you want to listen or whether you want to sleep. Right? When you are taking a class of your students and a student sleeps, you know it is your karma phala coming back to you. So if you want to be safe from that karma phala, if you don't want your students sleeping in your class, you know what to do. Stay attentive. Okay? It will come back anyway, in one way or the other. Anyway, that was just a joke. I hope your students don't sleep in your class. Now, the reason I told this introduction was, when it comes to any action that we do, any action, we have these two choices: either to do that action while being centered in the lower levels of our being, or we can do the same actions while being in the higher level of our own being. Right? We can act like an animal, we can act like a real human being. We have to make a conscious decision, because we as human beings can, animals cannot. See, Sanskritam or Indian languages have a lot of depth which English does not have. If given a choice, I would rather speak in Sanskritam or Hindi, maybe Tamil also, but I don't know Tamil, that's why I cannot speak. But any Indian language will do. English is because we don't have any other option to communicate in a language which all of us understand. But it's a very shallow language. I'm not disrespecting the language, but when it comes to the matters of spirituality, it is a very shallow language. When it comes to the matters of science and technology, it is a beautiful language. So in Sanskritam, action has two words, kriya and karma. When an animal does an action, it is just a kriya. Or when you do something without being conscious or aware about it, it is kriya. Kriya. But when you do something with awareness, with consciousness, with an intention, it becomes karma. Otherwise, it is just a kriya. Right? So let us say I'm walking and unintentionally I step on an ant. I kill an ant. It is just a kriya because I'm not even aware of it. Unintentional. But when I intentionally, let's say, kill an animal in the slaughterhouse or anywhere, it is a karma because I am doing it with a certain intention. When you are here and you are putting an effort consciously, you are aware that I am listening to learn something, it is karma. It is karma. So, every action that you do in your life, you can decide, even when you are aware about it, at what level you want to do it. At the lower level or at the higher level. If you do at the lower level, we are like Ravana and Duryodhana. If you do at the higher level, you are like Rama and Krishna. Each one of us has to decide. Karma is not only what you do physically. Very, very important to understand, because we are talking about karma yoga, which should be clear on what is karma. Karma is not only what you do physically. Karma is even a mental thought is a karma. Manasika, vachika, your words, what you speak, that is also karma. Sharirika, with your body what you do, that is also karma. So what you do mentally, you think, you speak, and you act physically, all of this comes under the purview of karma. So when we are talking about karma yoga, these three things have to be kept in mind. This yoga of karma has to be applied at all three levels, not just externally, not just at the level of your physical body, at your mental level, at what you speak, speech level, and also at the level of your physical body. At three levels, you need to apply karma yoga. Now, all of you have heard a lot about karma yoga, I know. I will randomly pick 2 or 3 people. Okay, please don't be afraid. There is no right or wrong answer. I just want to get a feel of what is your understanding right now of karma yoga. Okay, in one line, not too long because we have less time. One line, if I may ask the lady there in orange sari. Yes, please. What is your understanding of karma yoga? Do we have a mic for the audience? Yes, please.
Namaste, Swamiji. Selfless service. Karma yoga means selfless service.
Karma yoga means selfless service. Fine, thank you. Thank you so much. Your good name?
Nirmala.
Nirmala.
From
Thank you, Nirmala.
Core.
From?
Core. Core.
Core.
Eviku.
The blue sari there. Yes, please. Don't worry. You don't have to say the right answer. There's no right or wrong.
Do the action without any expectations.
Do the action without any expectation. Fine. Thank you. Somebody from the gent side, yes, please. Here.
Do the duty without knowing the result or any expectations.
Do the duty without
Knowing the result or any expectations.
without knowing the result or expectations. Fine. Thank you. Ma'am? Yes. On the mic, please.
Do our action without any expectation, selfless act.
Fine. Thank you. So, how many of you are sitting here selflessly? Without any expectation? How many of you are sitting here without any expectation? Are you expecting anything from this session or not? So, you are not doing Karma Yoga. And we are talking about Karma Yoga for last 2-3 days. Is it true you are not doing Karma Yoga right now? You are doing. Okay, we will explore. See, teaching, because most of you are teachers, we are talking about karma, we are talking about action. Teaching is also an action. If you see at teaching as a profession from a Western perspective, it is just a profession for which you get paid. You train yourself, you skill yourself, certain skills you have as a teacher, and that's pretty much it. But Indian Adhyatma, Indian spirituality is not limited to that. It goes deeper into the nature of karma, how it affects you. So if you ask me, what is Karma Yoga? Of course, all that you said is also correct. But I would also add, getting rid of suffering that is created by your own karma. Getting rid of the suffering that is created by your own karma. Because if it is just some, somebody may ask, and I had many questions like that, by the way. Out of the 222 questions I received, many questions were of this kind. Why should we do selfless actions? What is the point? Why should I not expect anything? I mean, it sounds very illogical. What kind of yoga is this? I have to do actions without expecting anything. But that is where the crux of Karma Yoga we need to understand. What is Karma Yoga meant for? Is it just for gaining some reward after your death? Or is it for some freedom, mukti, moksha? All those things are okay. They may be, they may not be. But what is it meaning? What does it mean right now for us? With every action, with every act which I am doing as a teacher or as a housewife or as a parent or as a husband, as a brother, every act that I am doing, how do I make myself free from the suffering? That is the most important part. Karma Yoga is not here just to give you some nice motivational talk on being selfless, on being a nice person. If you ask me, it's not like an optional subject. It's not like an optional subject. Oh, I will do Karma Yoga if I want, otherwise I will not do. It's not like that. Karma Yoga is the only intelligent choice you can make as a human being. Because every intelligent human being does not want to suffer. Every intelligent human being wants freedom. So to get rid of that bondage which is created by our own karma, to get rid of the suffering which is created by our own karma, karma yoga helps. So that you experience, in your own experience, you feel that freedom, you feel that suffering going away. That is the purpose of karma yoga, the ultimate purpose of karma yoga, right? When we talk about Abrahamic religions, can you give me examples of Abrahamic religions? Islam, Christianity, perfect. Okay. Again, no offense meant, not to disrespect any religion, but what is truth needs to be sometime told just to give a comparison. What is the ultimate goal of what we call as salvation? You must have heard these words, salvation. The day of judgment. There will be a day of judgment when the world will end. And at that time, it will be decided whether you will go to hell or heaven. Right? That is the goal, to go to heaven. And maybe you will get some nice company there. "72 virgin damsels" or whatever, right? So that is a Western perspective of the ultimate goal of life. But in Indian spirituality, which we call as Adhyatma, actually, as I told you, English doesn't have good translations for spiritual vocabulary of our Indian languages, like Sanskritam and all that. So Adhyatma is the right word for spirituality. Spirituality, you see, that word itself comes from the root word spirit. And spirit is a biblical term. Spirit is not an Indian term, not from Indian Shastras, Bharatiya Shastras. We talk about Adhyatma when it comes to spirituality. Adhyatma. If you split this word, Adhi plus Atma, you can say, which means anything which belongs to you, which is concerning you, be it physically, be it mentally, be it intellectually, anything that is concerning you is spiritual. That is what is spirituality. So now if you see like that, your actions, your karma, your profession, does it fall under the purview of spirituality or not? Yes or no? It falls under the purview of spirituality. Why? Because it is concerning you. You are not going to teach without using your body, without using your mind, without using your intellect. You will use all of that. So that is why teaching as an action, as a karma, is also a spiritual action. It falls under spirituality, and that is why karma needs to be dealt spiritually. That is why we are talking about karma yoga. It is not just a random, we have picked some karma yoga from Bhagavad Gita and okay, karma yoga. No. First of all, understanding why we need karma yoga, to get rid of the suffering, to be free, to gain freedom from the web of karma which we ourselves create. And then secondly, understanding that it is also part of spirituality. Everything that we do in our life in Indian context is spirituality. So that is why I said Karma Yoga is not an optional subject. It is the only intelligent way to do things, only intelligent way. Now our scriptures say something very, very beautiful. They give you an insight into human suffering. Scriptures say that there are three kinds of suffering. Please repeat with me. I have to make you repeat like small children because some of you are sleeping. Adi Bhautika. Please say. Some of you are cheating. Once again. Adi Bhautika. Adi Daivika. Say again. Adi. Very good. Once more. Adhyatmika. Adhyatmika. Read once more, first one. Adhyatmika. These are the three kinds of suffering. These are all different types of suffering that every human being goes through. What is the first one? Adi Bhautika, which means, I'm telling in a very simple terms because of lack of time, anything, any suffering which comes due to other people. Let's say a dog came and bite you. Dog comes and bites you. You suffer, right? Adi Bhautika. Adi Daivika is more like suffering due to natural forces. Like for example, you are going somewhere and all of a sudden storm comes or floods come. Many people suffer, right? So those kind of sufferings which are created by natural forces are Adi Daivika. And the third one is Adhyatmika. What was the definition of Adhyatma I told you earlier? Adhyatma. Spirituality, that is not a definition. That is an English translation. Anything that is concerned with you, body, mind, intellect, everything, that is spirituality. So Adhyatmika suffering means suffering which arises from your own self. Let's say you fell sick, or you got a disease. It is Adhyatmika suffering. Somebody goes into depression, severe depression, Adhyatmika suffering. Somebody is not getting sleep, insomnia, Adhyatmika suffering. All this suffering, Adhyatmika suffering, arises from your own being, from your own self. Right? So when we talk about Karma Yoga, now pay attention please. When we talk about Karma Yoga, we are talking about getting rid of this suffering using karma, using our karma. We are not talking about getting rid of Adi Bhautika suffering or Adi Daivika suffering, because we do not have control over such things. You cannot control whether a dog will come and bite you. You don't have control over this. You don't have control over hurricanes, floods. You can't control this. But this is in your control. This is in your control to a large degree. Because most of the suffering which is at this level is mental suffering. And if you can change the way you react and respond to situations, if you can change that, then you can get rid of the suffering, right? So even when it comes to Karma Yoga or any yoga for that matter, it is trying to help you get rid of the Adhyatmika kind of a suffering, right? Now, if I ask you, what kind of a suffering can karma create? Give me an example. What kind of a suffering? Because you are trying to get rid of the suffering which karma created, right? What kind of a suffering can that be? Give me any example you can think of. Anxiety, very good. Very good. Diabetes, yes. Unhealthy working habits. Cancer can, yeah. Depression, yes. Stress, very good. Very good. Laziness, very good. Angry, okay. Overthinking, yes. One very important, I'm still not getting, huh? Procrastination, jealousy, envy, ego. Yeah, those are all sufferings which your own karma creates. Right? And to get rid of that suffering, karma yoga is advised. See the beauty of it. Lord Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is not giving you some other mantra. He's saying use the same karma to get rid of your sufferings. It is like, for example, have you seen an iron axe? Iron axe. So let us say you have an iron rod. You can cut it with the iron axe, isn't it? The rod is made of iron. Axe is made of. So rod is like your karma, which gives you suffering. And the axe is like karma yoga. The same thing, but done in a different way. Done in a different way helps you to get rid of your suffering. So that is the purpose. We should be very, very clear why we are learning this karma yoga. It is not an option, at least for an intelligent person. At least for an intelligent person. It is not an option. Let's do Ma Om 3 times. Ma. You have to do Om yourself. Ma. Some of you are not sitting. You have to sit first. Don't cheat. Don't cheat. Ma. Perfect. This is also karma, and you are being so obedient. So I'm sure your children will also be obedient. You're doing some good karma right now. Can we go to the next slide, please? Yeah. Most of you know what this is. What is it? How many of you have it? Raise your hands if you have it. Okay, everybody has it. Great. Okay, we have something in common. Okay, fun apart. Please don't mind me cutting some jokes just to keep you awake. Why I'm showing you this slide is every karma. Now I'm not talking about from the philosophical or spiritual standpoint. I'm going to spend some time to talk about something that happens at the level of your brain medically. Not talking about any spirituality here. How many of you know how to bicycle? How to ride bicycle? Okay. First time you tried to ride bicycle, how was it? You fell down many times, broke your knee, wounded your knee. Somebody had to hold you from the back till you were one day, all of a sudden you were able to, independently do it. And if you practice it enough, you can even do it without holding the handle, right? You become so good at it. The same happens with swimming also. Now, medical science says that every time you do an action repeatedly, in your brain, I don't know if you can see my red pointer, in your brain, your neurons, the brain cells, can you go to the next slide, please? This is a neuron, magnified a lot. So these neurons, there are trillions of neurons, the brain cells, the cells in your brain, trillions and trillions of them. And every time you do an action, even think something, There are neural firings. Like this, you see this light coming, like electricity. The neurons fire electricity, small electrical signals. And when different neurons connect, the more, there is a saying, what fires together, wires together, in the medical parlance. The more you do an action, the more certain neurons fire in such a way that repeatedly, by doing it again and again, it becomes like a permanent connection of wires. What fires together, wires together. And that is why we have this beautiful concept of plasticity, brain plasticity, which means that your brain has amazing capacity, amazing capability to learn and adapt to newer things. First time you tried to ride a bicycle, neurons did not fire, because ultimately your hands, your muscles, everything has to be governed by your brain. If your brain is not able to understand what I am able to do or what I'm supposed to do, your muscles will not act accordingly. Your sense of balance will not act accordingly. But the more you do it, your brain, that wiring becomes more permanent, and there comes a point when it becomes very, very easy for you. And this applies to every action which you do. The repeated action creates neural connections, neural pathways, so to speak, which become permanent the more you do it. You understanding me? In Indian spiritual terms, we call this samskara. Samskara, or tendencies, you can say. Mental tendencies. Samskara. The stronger the samskara, it means that you have done that action again and again. When you perform an action again and again, the samskara becomes stronger. Just like your neural pathways become stronger. This is from the medical perspective I'm saying. Even if we don't believe in samskaras or mental tendencies, but this is something which is scientifically proven. Every act, every action that you do has an effect on your brain. Now the amazing part is, after your brain has formed a certain wiring, now this will determine what you will do. So it is not one way only. It is both ways. First, your action is having an effect on your brain wiring, and then your brain wiring is determining what you will do. In the spiritual terms, we would say that your actions will create samskaras, and your samskaras will determine what you do next. It's both ways. That is why karma is so powerful, because it can make you a hero, it can make you a villain. It can make you a saint, it can make you a sinner. You have to be very conscious of what you do, because you as a human being, it is your duty, it is your dharma as a human being to do every single action with awareness. If you are not doing, remember, you are choosing not to do. And by choosing that, you are choosing to become an animal in a human skin. And the more you practice acting like an animal, the more you become like an animal. That is why we see people with animalistic tendencies. We see people with animalistic behavior, because they have chosen like that. But we also see people who are very good, who are noble, because they have chosen to be like that. Right? You can change the slide, please. Now, you told me few definitions of, why karma yoga is needed and all that. I want to now ask you, you got an idea, right? I didn't want to tell you the same old things which you have been listening for last 2 days. That is why I gave you this intro in one way to understand why karma yoga is needed why karma in itself is so important. And as a human being, it is your duty to refine your karma with more sense of awareness so that you can get rid of that suffering which is created due to that karma. Right? And you gave me some examples of what kind of suffering can be created with karma, right? Jealousy, anxiety, depression. We all go through this. We all go through this. None of us are spared. Okay? So when it comes to Bhagavad Gita now let's talk quickly about Karma Yoga. What are the three main points which you must have already heard from so many speakers? What are the three main points which you must have heard? Tell me. Anybody can take the mic and tell me three main points of Karma Yoga. What is Karma Yoga? You gave me some points already, but still I would like to hear, in case you feel something most important has been missed out. Or do you think we have, whatever you said, you have already covered Karma Yoga? Yes, please. Please give him the mic.
Om Namah Shivaya. Karma Yoga means doing right actions with right attitude.
Right action with right attitude.
Yes.
Fine. Anything else? You must have heard so many verses from Bhagavad Gita and, right? No? No? No, not so far. Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes, okay. So from Bhagavad Gita, I meant from Bhagavad Gita, what have you heard about Karma Yoga? From Bhagavad Gita, specifically.
Action as worship to God.
Huh?
Action as worship to God. Surrender.
Action as worship to God. Okay, nice, very nice.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Yes, ma'am.
Paropakaram idam shariram.
Parupkaram idam shariram. From Bhagavad Gita specifically, I'm asking. Very, very good. Okay, I was expecting that. A very famous shloka from Bhagavad Gita. Karmanya vadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phal heturbhu mate sangostva akarmani. Simple translation. What is it? Do your duty. No. Karmani eva. Karmani eva adhikarahate means you have the right to act alone. You alone have the right to act. But you do not have the right over results of the actions, right? This is what Krishna is trying to say. Why do you have right over the action? Tell me. What gives you right over action? What right do you have? Huh? No, right. Krishna is saying, Karmani ev adhikaraha. You have a right to act. Why? Nobody is exempted from action. What is the definition of karma I gave you some time back? It is not only what you do with your body. Manasika, vachika, sharirika. Right? Even when you are sitting, you are thinking at least. Right? Let us say I sit down and I say I am not going to do anything. I have decided not to act. Even that is karma. So Krishna says you cannot be without doing karma. As a human being, you have to act. You have to act. In one way, you can say you are compelled to act. There is no other way. So you have the right to act. But you don't have the right to fruits of action or the karma phala, results. Why? Why don't you have right? No, I'm asking, why don't you have right? See, that word is very important. Krishna says you do not have right over fruits of actions. Why? Huh? Because it is in his hand, okay? Because you are not the doer. Then who is? I am. Your actions you only are doing. Who is a doer? If you do an action, you are the doer. I understood what you wanted to say, but let's not go that far. Yes. Yes. See, let us say you have a flight to catch at 7 p.m. You get into the car. It's a beautiful example which Amma has given many times. You get into the car. You acted. You acted. You did some action. Now on the way, there is a huge traffic, roadblock, and you're not able to reach the airport. What happens? You miss the flight? Because there are so many other factors which come into play when it comes to the results of the action, it is not in your hands. You cannot have right over the fruits of action, because it is illogical to say I have right over fruits of actions. There are so many other factors which are also playing a part in everything that you do. The results of that cannot be in your hands. It is, I would say, stupid to say that I have right over the fruits of action or the results of action. You cannot. There are umpteen other factors which come into picture when it comes to the results of the action. So please understand, Krishna in Bhagavad Gita is not saying that you should not think about fruits of action. Krishna is not saying don't think about the results. Because if you act without thinking, it would be stupid. I mean, if I am asked to deliver a lecture here, obviously I will think, how can I do it in the best possible way? How can I ensure that the spirit of Karma Yoga or the most important things of Karma Yoga are transmitted to the students or to the listeners? I will think about the results of action. No human being will act without thinking about the results of action. So it would be very, very wrong to say that Bhagavad Gita or Krishna says that don't think about, because I had some questions like that. That's why I'm saying. You have to think. You have to think, but be clear that you do not have control over the results of actions, and that is why you don't have right over the fruits of actions. Now, if you do not have right over something, it would be a waste of your energy, waste of your time to think too much about it. Thinking is okay, plan, but don't get obsessed with the results. Obsession is not good. That it should happen only in this way. The result has to happen in this way. If you think like that, then it will lead you to depression. It will lead you to anxiety. It may happen, it may not happen. Plan well. Amma also says beautifully, when you construct a house, you plan very well, you draw the plan. But final construction may not be exactly as what you have drawn on the plan. It may be better, it may be worse. So that is what that shloka, don't misinterpret as don't think about the results. You must think about the results. You must think about the results and do your best to act in a way that you get those results, but at the same time, do not be obsessed with those results. If you get the results the way you want, great. If you do not get, even then great. That is the kind of equipoise or samatvam, another very important shloka, samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam. I get what I want, wonderful. I don't get what I want, even then wonderful. Even then wonderful. Equipoise. I love that shloka. Samatvam yoga uchyate. That was the first thing or a spiritual instruction which Amma gave me personally about 20 years back. Amma was giving darshan and I went near Amma. I said, Amma, give me some spiritual instruction. Amma said, Samatvam yoga uchyate. That is the first thing you need to understand. Every action you do, be in equipoise. You get the results of action, fine. You don't get, even then, fine. Try next time. But it doesn't mean that don't think about the results of your action. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. Siddhi means the way you wanted it, you get those results. Asiddhi means you don't get those results. Samo bhutva. You are still in equipoise. Not easy. I'm not saying it is very easy. Sometimes when you don't get the results the way you want it, it frustrates you. You feel frustrated, you feel anxious, you feel sad. It is natural. But then it is possible as a human being to practice karma yoga and come to a state where it doesn't matter what the result is. You are still happy the way you are. You are not suffering. That adhyatmika suffering is gone. By practicing that again and again, adhyatmika suffering is gone. That is the crux of karma yoga. So a karma yogi, when you are a karma yogi, first thing, you are never afraid of acting. You are never afraid of action. You are never thinking, what will others say? Will others like what I am saying, or will others make fun of me? You are never thinking, what if I fail? That is not a karma yogi. Then you are only doing karma, not karma yoga. A karma yogi does much more than a normal person can, because there are no ifs and buts. Karma yogi is free, completely free from any mental shackles. What stops you from exploring your full potential is you yourself, nobody else. Your own inner pulls, your own inner fears, your own inner desires are pulling you. There is a very beautiful verse in Mahabharata, I think. One place, Duryodhana tells Krishna, Janami dharmam nacha me pravritti. I know what is good. I know what is right, but I can't do it. Janami adharmam nacha me nivritti. I also know what is not good. I know what is wrong. But I keep on doing it. Why is it like that, Krishna? Arjuna also asks a similar question, by the way, in Bhagavad Gita. How many of you have felt this in your life? If you're not raising your hand, you're not being true to yourself and to me. Every single one of us would have gone through this. We know what is right, but we are not able to do it. It could be a small thing, something. We know what is wrong, but we keep on doing it. You know, some psychologists, they say that most of us have a disease called schizophrenia. You know what is schizophrenia? Anybody knows what is schizophrenia? Schizophrenia? Schizophrenia is a mental disease where you start hallucinating. How many of you have, by the way, seen this beautiful movie? The name is The Beautiful Mind. The Beautiful Mind. Anybody has seen? John Nash. It is about a mathematician called John Nash who suffers from this disease. And because of that, he starts hallucinating every now and then. He starts seeing things which are not there. He starts imagining things which are not there. Because of this disease, a person becomes split personality. Split personality. You say something, you do something different. You think something different. And it happens to most of us actually. In lesser degree, we are all schizophrenic. We all, really, I'm not kidding. See, if you have come across this situation where you do something which you don't want to do, or you don't do something which you want to do, there is some inner conflict. And why is that conflict coming? That is the issue which Karma Yoga is trying to address. Get rid of that conflict, because that conflict is coming by your repeated actions without awareness, which have created deep samskaras. The mental wiring in your brain has become so deep that your own brain, your own mind is going against you. And you need to realize that if you want to come out of that suffering. You will be surprised to know there are psychologists who also say that most of us, most of the humans, 95% humans, we have never experienced what it means to be a human being. We have never experienced. That is why Krishna uses a little punchy term in Bhagavad Gita. He says to Arjuna, Vigata Jwaraha, means get rid of your fever. You are talking as if you are feverish. Fever, like we get body fever, you have mental fever, jwara. We all have mental fever. We are not normal. We are abnormal. But when many abnormal people meet, they feel everybody is normal. They feel everybody is normal. And when they meet a really normal person, we feel something abnormal with her. You know, jokingly, sometimes we say that Amma never gets sick of hugging people. Amma never gets tired of hugging people. But we get tired of seeing Amma hugging so many people. Even though we are not doing anything, but we get tired. Because we cannot even fathom, we cannot even understand how she is able to do that. There is no trace of any anxiety, there is no trace of any depression. There is always freshness. Because she is living like a human being. We don't know how it is like to be a human being. So we say, you are Devi. You are God who has come from heavens. Because we think we are humans. We are in human skin, but never experienced what it is like to be a human. If we really experience what it is like to be a human being, you become divine. So in that way, it is okay to say, Amma is divine, Amma is God. But we take it to a different level because we are abnormal. We say Amma is from some other place and we cannot be like her. She's okay. We do namaskar to her. We pay our respects, but she cannot be our role model. Come on. She is divine. She has some magical powers. We cannot be like that. That is the justification our tricky mind gives to us. In fact, she is the role model for all of us. She is the role model for all of us. She doesn't have any magical powers. She is just a normal human being, a really normal human being. We are abnormal in many ways, not able to understand that. And a really normal human being becomes divine. I think in Bible also it says, God made human being in his own way or something like that. Just to say that human being is essentially divine. What is Amma telling us? Amma is saying, when I look at all of you, I see only God. You are my God. There is no God sitting in the heavens. You yourself are the divine. You yourself have limited your understanding of yourself to be a body, to a mind, and that is why we are suffering. But Amma is not like that. That way she is our role model. Anyway, coming back to the topic. So we looked at Karmanya Vadhika Raste, we looked at Samatvam Yog Uchyate. These are two very, very important shlokas in Bhagavad Gita when it comes to Karma Yoga. So this split personality, this schizophrenia which I was talking about, if we want to get rid of it, that is why equipoise, Samatvam is very important. Because when you are in Samatvam, these actions will not create samskaras which will bind you. When Duryodhana says, I am doing something which I don't want to do. Why? Because the samskaras are making him do that. So to get rid of the samskaras, you have to practice karma yoga, so that the existing samskaras are exhausted, and at the same time you are not creating new bondage for yourself. You are free from any bondage of your own mental impressions. Your mental impressions are no more dictating what you should be doing or what you should not be doing, because they are like hidden controllers. We think we are in control of what we are doing. Actually, we are not. Our samskaras, our tendencies, which are forming in our brain, in our mind, by our actions, they become our hidden controllers. They begin to control us. We don't realize it. And Karma Yoga allows you to become free of that bondage, so that every action which you do, you will decide what you want to do, not being controlled by your past. Not being controlled by your past. Free from all anxieties, free from all depressions, free from jealousy, anger. Can you imagine what kind of life that would be? Just imagine for a moment. As an imagination, you think, all of a sudden, there is no anger, greed, jealousy, envy, depression, anxiety left in you. How would it be? You know, just that thought, just that imagination makes us feel so fresh. Because we are living day to day in a very, very, what to say, like a slave to our own mind. And that is why Krishna says, Uddharet Atmana Atmanam. Na Atmanam Avasadet. Atmaiv hi Atmano Bandhu, Atmaiv Varipur Atmana. You yourself are your best friend and you yourself are your worst enemy. You have to decide. If you choose Karma Yoga, you become your best friend. If you do not choose it, you become your worst enemy. You need to decide. You need to decide. I would like to take some questions from you before I go further, please. And feel free to ask any question without any hesitation. It could be the most stupidest question, or it could be the most wonderful question. I will accept it with equipoise, with samatvam, please. Please pass the mic. Anybody raise your hands? Yes. Please raise your hand so that she knows. Yes, please.
Namaskar, ji.
Namaskar.
Ji, we are talking about that
Can you increase the volume, please?
Karma yoga is to get rid of your sufferings. That is what we meant. That suffering is made by the neural pathways which we created by repeating ourselves, right? So if it is have to be done to get rid of it, so we have to rewire it.
Yes.
So it's about simple terms. It is letting go. And is that
Go ahead, complete your question.
easy to do it? And what is the contribution as a human effort? And what is the contribution as a grace in it?
Very good question. Okay. So the question is, we said karma yoga is for getting rid of the suffering, and the suffering, as she said it, suffering is created by the mental pathways. I'm not saying that suffering is created by mental pathways. I'm saying if our karma, if our action is being done with an intention which leads to suffering. Like for example, if I'm doing an action with an intention of harming somebody, killing somebody, harming them, then that mental wiring or samskara which is created, that leads to suffering. See, when you do good karma also, good action also, that will also create some mental wiring. That will also create some samskaras, but it will not bind you. It will not make you suffer. Only when you do selfish actions or actions which are meant to harm somebody, right? You ultimately suffer because it narrows down your own scope of awareness, first of all. And it creates a negative tendency in you, so you will suffer. Now, when you do good karma, or when you do a karma with a good intention rather, that is good karma. When you do karma with a good intention, it will also create some kind of a samskara, right? But the samskara which is already there, see, that is what I call brain plasticity. When you do not repeat certain karma again and again, the older latent samskaras slowly die out. They die out. New pathways are found. New mental connections are formed. The older connections automatically die out. But if you do it again, then again they become stronger. Right? So when you do karma yoga, you are told to do it with samatvam. Means you are neither getting depressed or anxious when you do not get the result, neither are you, or nor are you getting very elated or exalted when you get the results, right? You are free from both extremes. You are in the middle, right? So that, because both will give you suffering. We think only depression gives suffering. No. When you are excited too much also, when you are exalted too much also, that also leads to suffering. Because your natural state of being is like, you can think of it like a line, right? You have seen that sine wave, right? Like this sine wave. You go exalted, you again have to come down. You go down, you have to come up. Both extremes lead to suffering. Buddha used to say, Dukkham, Dukkham, Sarvam Dukkham. Lord Buddha, he always used to say, Dukkham, Dukkham, Sarvam Dukkham. And there was a very in-depth understanding in what he said. Even the most pleasurable thing in this world is ultimately dukkha, ultimately suffering. Because it takes you away from your natural state of being. So samatvam is the most, I would say, the most important part we have to understand in karma yoga. The most important. Because both extremes, whether it is pleasure or whether it is depression, both are suffering. So when we do actions with that kind of a intent, now what is happening? You are generating samskaras for samatvam, not for pleasure, not for depression, anxiety. Now you are generating samskara of samatvam. That also is a samskara. That also is a samskara. But now it is samatvam. And every time, now, whenever you have to act, this samatvam samskara will be guiding you. First you acted, first you practiced it, like you practiced the bicycle. Initially it was very hard, but slowly, you don't even think about it, right? Because the samskara has become so deep in your mind, in your brain, right? Similarly, when you do actions, when you practice karma yoga with samatvam, 2 times, 3 times you may fail. But after that, once that samatvam starts to set in, then every action you do, it is done with samatvam. Hope that answers your question. What was the last part of your question? The last part, I'm not sure if I answered that.
It's, is it possible to do it only with human effort, or you need grace?
Is it possible to do it with human effort, or do you need grace? If you ask me, from my experience, everything that you need or to do in life or achieve in life needs grace. Everything. But it depends on what you call grace. It depends on what you call grace. How you define grace. Amma says it in a very beautiful way. Amma says effort and grace are not two different things. Only if there is effort, there is grace. Effort attracts grace. So Amma gives a beautiful example. Sun is shining outside. Sun is shining. You are in a room with closed doors and windows. So obviously sunlight is not coming in. Right? You can blame sun. You can blame God. There is no grace on me, this, that. But the moment you open the door, you took an effort to open the door. You took an effort to open the window. Sunlight comes in. So you took an effort, and the grace which was already existing comes. You receive that grace, rather. You become tuned to the grace. Like, in old times we used to have, Amma gives this example also, those old transistors or radios where you have a knob. You have to move like this, and suddenly you will hear the radio station, right? A song or a news. So same transistor, same set, but now you have tuned yourself to the grace. So grace is not something which is partial. That's why I said it depends on how you understand grace. Grace is not something partial. Grace is always there, universally. But are you tuning yourself to it by your effort? That is a deciding part. And when you are doing karma yoga, when you're practicing karma yoga, you are tuning yourself for that grace. Extremes, pleasure, anxiety, depression, you are closing your doors and windows. Grace will not enter. Samatvam, you are opening the doors and windows. Grace will enter. So in one way, nothing is possible without grace. Nothing. Yes. Any other question, please?
Thank you so much.
Ma'am, over there. Thank you for that wonderful question. Yes, ma'am. Anybody? Keep the question very precise, and not too many questions in one question.
I have a doubt. What is I? I refers mind or soul or our body.
I will take this question later if time permits.
So,
right now, I only want to take karma yoga related questions.
Okay.
Swamiji, my question is about, you have said that Duryodhana knows what is wrong, but he is doing the same thing. Like in our day-to-day life, we can see the global leaders, they know it is wrong. Like the US leader, but he is doing the same thing. I don't know if we pray truly.
No, first of all, before you go further, how do you know that he knows he is doing wrong?
Healing people.
You are assuming that. You are assuming that.
Life is taking away the
you are assuming that he knows that he is doing wrong. Maybe he thinks he is doing right.
Now,
See, I understood your question.
No, by praying, if we pray truly, is it possible to change their mind from our prayers?
Okay. So first of all, spirituality, as I said, again, what was the word I used? Adhyatma, which means, say that again, which means? Adhyatma means?
opposite of suffering.
No. Say that on the mic. Adhyatma means something that is concerning you. Not that guy in the US. So, please sit. Karma Yoga, spirituality, it is about you. In the Indian context, it is not to grade or evaluate anybody else. Please always remember that. It is not to grade or evaluate anybody. But your second part of the question, can our prayers help? That is more a question of morality, ethics, and also our social responsibility, right? Definitely, I think that prayers do help. And Amma has told that many times, even when we do white flower meditation, Amma does in the ashram and wherever she goes, she repeatedly says that our prayers help. Now, for some people, it may be pseudoscience. In this so-called modern world, there are many people who are evaluating everything from this angle of science, mathematics, technology. I think it is little foolish to do that. If we evaluate everything from the angle of science, technology, mathematics, it is foolish, because a human being has so many dimensions which you cannot explain with science, technology, and mathematics. Suppose somebody is very sad, suffering, and a mathematician comes and says, "Oh, I'm not able to write an equation of your suffering, so you are not suffering." Or other person comes and says, "Well, sir, your blood pressure is okay, your heart rate is okay, LFT, KFT, all is normal, you cannot be suffering." But he says, "Sir, I'm suffering, I'm very sad." No, but your blood report is normal. We cannot be evaluating everything in the lab. Human dimension is vast. Similarly, this world has vast dimensions. It is not only what we see or what we can measure in the labs. Right? A simple thing, love, trust, human emotions. No math, no science, no equations, nothing can define it. Right? So prayer is also like that. In one way, prayer is also a karma. Remember that. Prayer is also a karma. It's a manasik karma. It's not a sharirik karma, it's a manasik karma. And every single karma has its consequences. Every single karma. Amma says that even our thoughts, they leave a fine imprint in this universe. Even our thoughts. And Shastras also say that. Of course, I won't say there is scientific proof for it. That will be pseudoscience. I am a lover of science and technology myself. But at the same time, I would also say that just because there is no scientific proof for something right now, doesn't mean that that thing cannot exist or does not exist. Right? So when we hear normal people, when we hear real human beings, when we hear the divinity, the Mahatmas saying this, I think we should trust in that. Prayers definitely have a deep impact. But remember, now your question may be, the follow-up question may be, "Sir, we are praying but nothing is happening." It could be because of multiple reasons. There may be some people who may be praying in an opposite way. God is also confused. Whom to make happy? Like I always say this, majority, I think voting is still going on. I don't know when the counting day will come. But there is this beautiful story. Once a lioness, mother lion, in a jungle, she gave birth to 5 cubs, small little lions. And the moment they were born, they wanted to drink milk. But the mother had not eaten for 10 days. So the mother was very, very weak. There was no milk. So the mother started praying to God, God, give me a nice breakfast so that I can feed my children. And on the other end of the forest, there was a mother deer, who had recently given birth to a small baby deer. And the baby deer wanted to go and play. So mother deer was praying, okay, God, my baby has to go and play. Please take care of him. The lion mother is praying, give me some good breakfast so that I can feed my children. Mother deer is praying that let my baby be safe. Now this baby deer goes and plays in the forest, and the mother lion sees the baby deer, nice breakfast, eats it, comes back, feeds its 5 children. Can we blame God? Can we blame God for this? Can we say that, this tigress or this lioness, she did something very cruel? We can't say that. Gahana karmano gati. Every action done by anybody, there are multiple factors which are behind that action. And we are only looking at one physical body and then evaluating why that person did this or that. We don't know about the person's past. Forget about the past lives. Some people may not believe in past lives. Some people may not believe in rebirth. But even in this life, we don't know everybody's past. We don't know what samskaras they are carrying. So, similarly, the prayers, when you are saying prayers, some people may be praying in totally different way. We never know. Or maybe your own prayers are not focused enough or having enough intensity for them to fructify. Who knows? But definitely, the answer to your main question is, yes, prayers do have an effect. Yes, they do. Yes, please. Yes, sir. Please pass on the mic. Please pass on the mic, please. Yes, please.
Mr. Samskara and prarabdha, is both the terms are similar or having the same meaning, or is there any difference between?
Okay, I'll quickly answer that because it's slightly diverging from the topic.
Okay.
Samskara and prarabdha are very, very different. Very, very different. Prarabdha is something which you carry as accumulated karma phala, and there is then the concept of rebirth. I mean, there is a belief as per karma siddhanta that your previous births, everything that you have accumulated, the karma you have done in your previous births, the karma phala or the results of that karma, which are now ripe, which you have to experience, that is called prarabdha. So prarabdha is the ripened karma phala, which you have to experience in this birth, which you have to experience, karma phala. Samskaras are not karma. In one way it is karma phala also, because only when you do karma you generate samskaras, but they are not like prarabdhas. Eventually, some of these samskaras may end up becoming a prarabdha or may lead to some prarabdha for future. But technically they are two different terms. Yes. Related to karma yoga specifically. Yes, please. Please pass the mic there. Maybe if you can pass it on to
Om Namah Shivaya Swamiji. I have doubt that we are suffering due to the attachment and ignorance. But the properties which our parents giving no to us,
The
properties which our parent giving to us, no, from that we are getting karma, no, how to get rid of that?
properties. Properties meaning?
Properties means wealth.
Wealth.
Assets.
Oh, you want to get rid of your wealth?
From that we are getting karma, no.
You can give it to me, I'll accept it.
No, actually our people does not know that due what activity they are doing, from whether they did good or bad deed, we does not know. But we are getting that property. Due to that we are suffering, but we will not, few of them will say, no, your father did such a thing, so only you are suffering.
Oh, you are saying, okay, if I am understanding you correctly, you are saying that in case parents have certain wealth which they have accumulated with some wrong karma, by doing some wrong karma, if we inherit that wealth, will we get wrong karma or wrong karma phala? Is that what you're saying? Okay. Thank you. That's a very, very different kind of a question. I've never heard that. But very good question. See, first of all, if we talk from the spiritual perspective, you are not responsible for somebody else's karma, first of all. You're only responsible for your own karma. If somebody else has done some karma, it is not your responsibility. Okay? Now, when it comes to inheritance, if your parents have given you a house or some property or whatever, you don't know how they have acquired it, right? If you know, like let us say, I'm just giving a example, may not be a true example. Let us say your friend, let's forget parents. Let's say your friend murders somebody, and that person's car, the murdered person's car, he comes and gifts you, right? You know that he committed a murder and you still accept it. Then you will have to pay the penalty for it according to the karma siddhanta. But let us say you don't know how he got the car. You don't know, you're not aware of it. He gave you a car, he gifted you, and you thought he's a good friend and you accepted it. That's absolutely fine. You don't accrue the karma phala, wrong karma phala of that. So your intention is what matters, right? If you are doing something unintentionally, like I said, you are walking over an ant and killing an ant, you don't accrue a negative karma phala, right? But if you are intentionally killing an animal, you will get, according to karma siddhanta, you will have to pay that price, right? So in this case, let us say your parents are giving you some property or you are inheriting some property. If you know that that property or that money has come from a source or has come due to other people's suffering, then you can decide. Now you have two choices. You can decide whether to completely throw that away, or other choice is you take it and use it for your selfish purposes. Third option, the best one I would say, is take it and use it for the good of others. Use it to help others. And that way you not only gain good karma, you are also able to help them in one way, the others who need your help, right? So it is, see, when we talk about dharma, we should also understand not dharma as a religion, dharma as a duty, dharma as a social responsibility. We all should ensure that in whatever we do, whether we as a teacher, as a mother, we are doing things which are for a larger good. Anything which is for a larger good, that becomes dharma, right? Some people may suffer because of your noblest actions also. Even if you do the most noblest action, some people may suffer. Like for example, let us say there are a very important guest is coming to your house, and in the room where you are going to put them, there is a very deadly snake Obviously, you have to get rid of the snake. Otherwise, your guest is going to die. Right? So, sometimes you have to do certain actions for the larger good, right? Which may harm few people. But then it is for the larger good. A soldier who is fighting the battle on the border, he is not killing the enemy out of his wish. He is not enjoying it, but he has to kill. He has to kill for the larger good, for the larger good of the country. So don't be ever confused about dharma. Sometimes you might have to do something which hurts few people, but for the larger good it may be good. That is why Arjuna was confused. Arjuna said, I won't fight. Why kill my own kith and kin? But Arjuna was wrong. Krishna was right. Because for the larger good, killing them was important. It is not about killing. It is about the larger good. It is about the larger good which you have to keep. So if they are giving you, you have two choices. Either reject it, which is also okay, but I would say take it and use it to help others. Yes, anybody else? We have few minutes. One last question. One last question. Yes, over there.
Namshaya ji, everything is God's plan, right? And we are the tools in God's hand, right? Then how do we control our karma? How do we control our action?
We'll go one by one. Stay there, stay there. Stay there, stay there, stay. Say the first statement.
Everything is God's plan.
What is God?
The creation, the creator, and everything is God.
Everything is God.
Yes.
Including you.
Yes.
So it is your plan?
Okay. Okay.
See, I'm not trying to put you in a situation where your question is invalidated. Please don't think so. It's a very good question. But understand that sometimes our confusions are because of the way we think about certain things. Like our concepts about God are very different sometimes, which may not be right concepts. Because we have been told like that. You know, somebody sitting in the clouds is deciding what you should be doing. And you are just like puppets. You are just doing something. So that is why reading Bhagavad Gita and practicing Karma Yoga is important. That is why the importance of Mahatmas like Amma, Krishna, avatars. We say Krishna is personification of God, right? Embodiment of God. What is Krishna saying? If everything was, we were just puppets, then Krishna would have told Arjuna, okay, do whatever, anyway. Krishna would not have given this long Bhagavad Gita teaching, 18 chapters. So it is not that we are not like puppets. You have a certain degree of discernment which has been given to you. You have a certain degree of discernment. You have certain viveka. You know what is right and wrong. And it is you who have to decide. But the decision has to be whether you are open to a higher intelligence. In one way, what you said is right. It is not that you as a human being decide the sunrise and the sunset. You as a human being doesn't decide whether my heart will beat or whether it will stop. It will beat. One day it will stop. You don't decide it. There is a higher intelligence. Definitely a higher intelligence. But that does not mean that you are a puppet. And somebody is remote controlling you. Of course, there are hidden controllers in your own mind, which we were just talking about. The samskaras. That is what you need to take care of. And you can do that. You have the power, you have the ability. That is what you need to focus on. Okay? Don't ever think that somebody is just doing a remote control and you are helpless. You are not helpless. Okay? So I think I will wind up now with one last slide, if you can quickly show. Yes. This, all of you know this slide? What is it? Mahabharata battleground. Okay. There is a one beautiful analogy of this, horses and Krishna. So they say the horses in Kathopanishad, one of the very important Upanishads, this analogy is drawn that your horses are like your five senses: eyes, ears, nose, tongue, skin, sense organs. So five senses are these horses. And the reins, which Krishna is holding, the rein, right? That is your mind. That is your mind. And Arjuna is Jiva, or an individual soul. And Krishna is your buddhi, intellect. So the idea is, when you live in this world, whether you are a teacher or whether you are any other profession, as a human being, every human being must remember this. Making sure your senses are controlled by your buddhi, your intellect. Your reins are in the hands of the intellect, not in the hands of your mind. Because if you give into mind these hidden controllers, your samskaras, vasanas. Vasana is also a term which is used in the Sanskrit literature. They're almost equivalent to samskaras. These hidden vasanas and samskaras, they will overpower you. And they will make you act like a schizophrenic. You don't want to do it, but you will do it. You want to do it, but you won't do it. So that is why important to keep your senses and mind under the control of intellect. That is why Krishna says, Buddhi yukto jahatiha. Endowed in wisdom, samatvam yoguchyate. Then only you try this, practice this karma yoga of equipoise of mind. Don't just think dexterity, please. This is one important point I want to say. Just I'll take 2 more minutes. Many times there is another one beautiful verse, yoga karmasu kaushalam. How many of you have heard this? Maybe they covered. Okay. What was the explanation which was given? Anybody? After this I will end. What was the explanation which was given for yoga karmasu kaushalam? Yoga karmasu kaushalam. What does it mean? Achieving excellence. Not clear. Achieving excellence. Not clear. What is kaushalam? What is kaushalam? Excellence. What excellence? Suppose most of you, especially the mothers and sisters here, you do cooking, right? How will you practice yoga karmasu kaushalam in the kitchen when you are cutting vegetables? How will you practice? Now you are saying excellence, 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 no? What will you do? You will, while cutting, you will say excellent, 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 like that? How will you practice excellence? Perfection. You will perfectly cut it, like that? With love. With love. You will cut it with love. Nice. Intense focus. Okay, now answer this question of mine. Answer my question. Answer my question. A murderer goes with utmost focus, enters into a house with utmost attention, in an excellent way, murders a person and comes out. Nobody in the world knows who did the murder. Excellent way he did. Yoga? Karma yoga? Karma yoga? Is it karma yoga? Is it karma yoga? See, many people, this particular verse of Bhagavad Gita is misinterpreted by many people. Unfortunately, every translation you see across books, dexterity in action is yoga. Skillful action is yoga. I'm not saying it is wrong. I'm not saying it is wrong. It is incomplete. It is incomplete. I once asked this doubt actually to Amma. Amma, if a murderer goes and does it in a very nice way, skillfully, then how can it be karma yoga? Because I had heard from somebody like that. Amma said, that is where you have to understand. It is not only kaushalam which is important. Yoga is also important. So understand this in this way. Yoga plus karmasu. Also, you have to understand it as karmasu plus kaushalam, which means right now, which we discussed was just this part. Dexterity in action. Kaushalam in our karma, doing it in a best possible way. Even a murderer can commit a murder in a best possible way. But that does not make it karma yoga. Because the other part is missing. And this became clear to me only when I asked this question to Amma. And I had never heard this before. And this is very important to understand. Yoga in karmasu, that is also very important. Means in your karma, when you do your karma, you should be in the state of samatvam yoga uchyate. You should be in the state of equipoise. You should be in a state where you are following larger good, dharma. Then only it can become yoga. Committing a murder can never be yoga. When you are doing a karma with equipoise and by following your dharma, Manushya dharma. Manushya dharma is to not harm anybody. That is Manushya dharma, common to all of us. Not harm anybody. So how can somebody who is doing his dharma, Manushya dharma, kill somebody or commit murder? Not possible. So karmasu kaushalam important, but also yoga in that karma is important. Then only it becomes karma yoga. Otherwise it doesn't become karma yoga. So when Krishna is telling Arjuna, fight, many people ask this, oh, Krishna is telling Arjuna to kill people. No. Action may look similar, but it is not to kill, it is for the larger good. Amma gives even beautiful example. A doctor uses the knife to operate, to do the operation, to save somebody, to save one's life. But the same knife can be used by a murderer to commit the murder. It is not what you do externally. It is not what you do externally, but the intention behind it, which matters. And if you are established in yoga, in that equipoise, in that dharma, you will never commit a murder. So whenever you hear yoga, karmasu, kaushalam, remember both things. Karmasu, kaushalam and yoga, karmasu. Then only it becomes karma yoga. Okay? So I think I'll end with that. Don't want to extend into another session. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. Really enjoyed being with all of you. And I hope to see you again sometime. Namaste.
Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you, Swamiji, for enlightening us through your discourse. From this discourse, we enlightened a lot. Thinking that karma is what we do. We can do any action in two types, whether with karmic and the karma. With intention, if we do anything for the larger good, it will always be helpful for the mankind. Like Amma does for the mankind, we should also be responsible for our own duties. With intentions, with pure intentions, we have to proceed our lives. As a teacher in a school, for giving foundations for the younger generation, we should be sincere and responsible citizens of this country, because we are molding the young minds for the larger good. Thank you, Swamiji.